I'm Bob, and I like coffee. I also like to tell stories. Here at the Bobcast, it's time for a coffee break. So, take a coffee break with me and pour yourself a cup of your favorite Joe. By the time you're done with your coffee, you will know something about me you really didn't need to know. But you will have fun learning it. Just remember, my stories are true. For the most part. Alright, well today I am enjoying a cup of Joe out of my Papa mug. This is a nice store-bought mug. Green, nice pattern, says Papa on it. I'm not a grandpa, I'm not a Grampsy or anything like that. I am a Papa. And this mug works great, just like this. Alright, time for the coffee break. And episode 10. Episode 10, I call The Blue Hairs Win Again. So growing up, I was a very picky eater of sorts. There are some foods I just don't like eating. I don't think that is too strange of a thing. Everyone has something. One of my roommates in college would not eat any meat that had been boiled. My youngest son is not a fan of pork, which is okay, that leaves more bacon for me. One food I find not to my liking is lasagna. Yes, I understand that many of you just said, "What?" There are many good arguments for lasagna. 1. Don't you like pizza? It's the same ingredients. 2. Don't you like spaghetti? It's basically the same thing. Or 3, my personal favorite. You've never tried my lasagna. I have eaten so much lasagna in my life from people who wanted to prove me wrong that I sometimes think I would have eaten less lasagna if I would have liked it to begin with. But I will tell you this. My Grandpa Reynolds told me once, and only once, if someone offers you food that they made, eat it, and then ask for a small second helping. Even if you don't like the food, it's polite and it makes them feel good. Now, that statement actually made a very lasting impact on me, just not an instantaneous impact. But because of that statement, it had me eating a small second helping of lasagna for years. At first, I didn't quite understand what he was talking about, but over the years, I realized that there was a lot of truth in that one statement, and it took me a while to understand. My Grandpa Reynolds died, well, it happens, when I was in high school. He died during the halftime, if I remember right, of a Dallas Cowboy-Washington Redskin football game. Now, at the time, the Cowboys were ahead, so he probably thought, what's the point of sticking around to see that again? Anyway, it was his last day. I do miss that big old fisherman and sparrow hunter. He was a lot more fun than a young Bob knew or gave him credit for. So, a week after he died, my grandma, my father, uncle, and aunt got the funeral all arranged, and our family headed back to Seminole, Oklahoma. Now, I don't remember everything about that day. A lot of it was a blur. But I do remember how amazing it seemed that at my grandpa's funeral, it seemed like the whole town of Seminole came out. At that point in my life, that was the biggest funeral I have ever been to. Do you know what follows a big funeral? Lots of food. Now, no matter what you call it after a funeral, there always seems to be the gathering, a place and a time to get together and tell stories and eat way too much food. This time we ended up at my aunt and uncle's house in Seminole. They were right on the outskirts of Seminole. And it felt like every grandmother in town brought enough food to feed a family of 6 each. The kitchen was packed with food. The stove and the oven were loaded down. Every flat surface in the kitchen had some kind of food on it. The counters, the tables, folding tables, chairs. If it was flat, it had food on it. There were lots of casseroles, fried chicken, roast beef, side dishes of all kinds. And there, on the counter of my aunt's kitchen, was the auntie food, the kryptonite of Bob. And no, it was not lasagna. It was fried okra. I can't tell you the thing with okra. It was the color, the smell, the size, the taste. Let's just say it was everything about okra. And since I can remember, there have only been 2 smells that would drive me from a kitchen. One was sauerkraut, and the other was fried okra. And here, I'm faced not with 1 bowl of fried okra, but 4 big bowls of fried okra. This was the point that I said to myself, I'm just not going to eat. I'm not going to eat anything. I won't go back into the kitchen, and I'll just stop and pick something up on the way home. You see, not only was this the day of my grandpa's funeral, but it was also the final dress rehearsal for a play that I was in high school. So I stayed as long as I could, but I really needed to get back to Yukon and be there for the show. See, the dress rehearsal was with a live audience, and I'm expected to be there. I am going to be on stage. So it's only about an hour and a half drive, so with a couple of hours to spare, I say my goodbyes. Around 5. I've got to be back for dress rehearsal at 7. And as I make my way out of the very crowded house, the old blue hair gang of women, they jumped me. It was just like a Monty Python skit. They drag me to the kitchen and start shoving food at me. And I look at them and I say, I can't stay. I really gotta go. And like magic, this large brown paper bag shows up and food starts going in. We're talking about chicken, pie, roast beef, pie, mashed potatoes, pie, and more stuff until I'm holding a paper sack that is about to explode. And I'm bowing myself out of the kitchen, thanking them, and making a run for the car. Now, moments later, I'm in my 1978 Plymouth Fury Sport. It was the replacement for the 73 Pinto that finally died. And I'm speeding off back into Seminole. Now, don't worry, I don't think there were any cops left on the road to give me a ticket. Like I said, everyone was at the funeral. As I'm driving into Seminole, the smells from the bag start to get to me. And I'm starting to realize maybe I am a little hungry. All right, quick fact. My 1978 Plymouth Fury Sport has a burned out dome light. So there's no light inside the car. So I had to rummage in the sack for a goodie. Come on, pie. No, that's not pie. That's like popcorn kind of feel. Take a bite. It doesn't taste like popcorn. Let's try again. Come on, pie. Nope, not pie again, but hey, I hit a dinner roll. Excellent. Let's try again. Come on, pie. I know there's pie in there. No, that's that popcorn stuff again. It's not bad, but it's not popcorn. Maybe it's like fried potato. That's not it either. Yeah, but it's good, and I'll eat it. But it's at this time that I realize I am almost out of gas. So as I'm getting to the far end of Seminole, heading back to the highway, I pull into the nearest gas station. I grab a handful of the tasty mystery treat, hop out to fill up the gas tank, and there, standing behind my 78 Plymouth Fury Sport, I look into my hand in horror to find I am eating fried okra. And the worst part is, I like it. What for the love of bacon is going on here? I stare up into the dark. Grandpa, did you curse me? Did those blue-haired grannies trick me? Maybe this isn't okra. Maybe this is that new crack cocaine or something. Everybody's talking about it. Well, whatever it is, I like it. Yeah. Now, with a full tank of gas, I'm heading back down to Yukon, digging all through this bag, past the chicken, past the roast, past the pie, looking for one more crust of okra. Part of the lesson Grandpa Reynolds taught me, I believe, was teaching me years ago that you should always give something a second chance. Don't let your preconceived notions blind you. In reality, just because you've built up in your mind that you don't like okra, doesn't mean you'll always not like okra, and you should give it a try every now and then. Oh man, now I think I'm just gonna have to go out and try a slice of lasagna again. Oh well, until the next time, have a great cup of joe.